Hi guys, in this I will be reacting to a 1950s video guide on how to live your life and curb bad habits. Proceed. So as I may or may not share with you later, I have some bad habits, believe it or not, and I have never resonated with a YouTube video as much as I have this one that was like, it was like a hybrid. It was like someone had edited. Have you ever seen those 1950s tutorials on like how to live your life correctly? And like they're really not just chauvinistic, but just displaying a dystopia that our society was, and it's like I think it was like a form of mind control that they were sort of using in the 50s. Anyway, I'm obsessed with them. I love them. Like I've probably watched that. They're everything from like how to date as a teenager with very specific instructions to like how to do your makeup, to how to keep your house clean for your husband. You get the gist. Anyway, someone made an edit of one and I might play it or play some clips of it. I'll put the edited version of this video, the link to it, in the description because it's a bit long. And in this I'll just be reacting to the full video. I might watch a couple of other 1950s how to live your life tutorials and do a reaction to them, and then once I've got enough ammo I will put together a little day routine that I'll try and stick to, and we will see how that all pans out for me. And I just have never felt more a depiction of me. Anyway, so the original film clip I've actually watched before anyway, and I really like it because it's more just fascinating. Like it's kind of actually a little bit depressing if you really think about it for too long. But anyway, I thought I'd watch it with you guys. I haven't watched it in ages, and I got this idea because let's be real, I'm not living my best life at the moment, and shit's getting a little bit out of hand, and I thought, you know what I'm doing obviously isn't working, so why not try a 1950s instructional on how to live my life correctly? You know, maybe they're right, maybe I'm wrong. So I thought we would watch it together, and then maybe I'll spend a day, a week, however long it takes, I guess, to do this, to live my life via their rules and see if it makes a difference. So if your life's also out of control and you would like to try another method to be another man, woman, or in between, come along for this journey and let's see what happens. But first things first, we've got to watch the video together. Psychology for living. So this is science.
It works, bitches.
It's a little late for tears, isn't it, Barbara? Even though you didn't know it was going to happen today, you've still had your whole life to prepare for it. Of course, you've gotten into the habit of not being prepared. And now it's a little late, isn't it?
She's a savage. It's a little late now, isn't it, Barbara? I don't even have words.
You're a creature of habit, Barbara. We all are. Unfortunately, not all of your habits are good ones. This was how your day started. It started wrong. Your neighbor, Helen, is a creature of habit, too. But she got up when the alarm went off. Because, Barbara, that's what she really had in mind when she said it.
I need to stop it here. We all have a Helen. I had a Helen in grade 4. I won't name, but she had these socks that she could pull up to her knees and they never slid down. And I was so envious of her perfect little pulled up white socks that never had a stain on them. She always had this neat braid. I wonder where she is now, but we all have a Helen.
Helen has trained herself to know what she's going to do, in what order, and where the...
Also, I'm guessing that one of the steps in all of this is going to be you set an alarm clock and then you get up at that set alarm clock. So there's no snoozing. I don't even set an alarm clock, but that's obviously going to be changing. And I then sit at my vanity and I brush my hair, I guess. And I think about what I'm going to do. So...
the things are to do it with. She really doesn't have to think about it. She already knows what clothes she's going to wear today. As it turned out, it was a special day for Helen, too.
Okay, so I've got to get all my hairbrushes and things set out on my vanity, ready to go, and I've got to know what I'm wearing today. Getting up with an alarm. All right, we can do this.
But she makes a habit of being ready for special days. She starts by having a place for things and keeping them there. She uses taste in selecting her clothes, but more than that, she keeps them clean and mended. And she's able to match the right skirt with the right sweater.
It's just making me have an existential crisis about where I've just gone wrong with my entire life.
This was going to be a special day for you, but you hadn't gotten very far with your preparations for it. Was your whole family asleep? No, your mother was up. Had been for an hour.
Barbara, get up. You'll be late for school.
Does she have to do this every morning, Barbara?
Barbara, do you hear me?
Pete's sake, I hear you. I'm up.
You didn't seem at all appreciative. Even if you're not really well-mannered, you could make a habit of being civil.
Okay, we got to be civil, which bothers me a little bit because I think this is part of the culture of women being palatable for men and everyone else, and we have to smile and be civil and blah 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 blah. But you know what? I can put a smile on my da and I can be positive in the morning for the sake of this, as long as it's just for the sake of this social experiment.
And you weren't really up when your mother called you. Little lies.
And let me just make this clear. Barbara was clearly being a brat, but I think the point I'm trying to make... being polite and being friendly is very different to being expected to be smiling and sweet and congenial all the time because you're a woman. That's a whole nother kettle of fish that we're not going to crack open here.
There's such a firm foundation for big ones. You started your day with no plan at all. Looking for your hairbrush? Can't remember where you left it?
This is me every morning.
You forgot other important things today. You meant to fix that collar, but you've gotten into the habit of putting things off. There are so many things you plan to do this coming Saturday or the one after that. Let's see. You found the algebra notebook you lost. The ski pants you meant to put away in the chest. The afghan you started to knit last summer. And, oh yes, the sweater you were looking for. You decided to cover the spots on your sweater with a scarf. You often do that. But you can't forget that the spots are there. If you had a habit plan...
The spots are internal. And you know it, Barbara.
And for your mornings, you might get off to a decent start someday. Helen has a habit plan, and it includes a healthy breakfast and a pleasant word with her parents.
A habit plan, of course. That's where I've been going wrong. Helen, you've got this.
All three always enjoyed Mr. Elliot's comments on the news. It was time to get started for office and school. Helen's dad would drop her on the way downtown. And who could ask for a nicer way to go to school? Your brother was ready, but your father couldn't wait for you. Or you could have driven to school with him. He used to enjoy that drive, too. Your eggs were cold this morning, but you had no time to be picky about food or to think about your diet. No time for milk.
Speaking of which, I'm going to get some water. See, this stuff really works. Like, it really must enter your psyche, because I'm already like, you're right, I need to be more conscious of my diet.
Or even to say good morning.
More
No
fluoride
time
in my
for
water.
manners. You made a pretty picture with your rumpled skirt, your spotted sweater, and your hair in a tizzy. As usual, all your neighbors knew how late it was when you went by at your regular dog trot. You were late for school this morning.
I've got a friend who can attest to when I was in school, my regular dog trot was every morning. I would see the train coming and I would have to run to the train and like pretty much hail the train down, run in front of the tracks, get on the train, burst on like a lunatic every single day, and then I would do my makeup on the train on the way to school.
Morning, but then you're almost always late, and you're guilty about it. More so because your lateness is habitual. You're in a rut with a bad habit, and the longer you stick with the habit, the deeper the rut gets. When you saw Helen, you suddenly felt envious. But more than that, you
Oh my god, I'm envious of all the Helens.
felt a distaste for your sloppy ways. And you knew you could do something about them if only... That wasn't a happy thought, was it? Or do you always drum with your fingers? You were just chatting away with Helen when it happened, when the day suddenly turned into something special. You've never been friends with Ann Tolliver, and you've always wanted to be.
Hi. Hi. Some of the crowd's coming over to my house right after school. Do you think you two could make it?
Well, that'd be fun, Anne. I'd love to.
Swell. Well, what do you say, Bobby?
Sure, thanks.
Okay, see you later.
Bye. It'll be fun, won't it?
Oh, yes.
Bye.
Each school year sees new groups forming, old ones reforming. Yours is a changing social world, and the opportunities to be part of it must be taken when they arise. You knew.
Does anyone else get the vibe that Bobby's gonna be like self-harming in the school toilets at lunchtime?
This afternoon that you were making a bad impression, and you knew how easy it is not to be invited again, and how quickly you can be left out of the crowd. You were embarrassed by your...
I'd like to intercept just here, like, yes, I've got some bad habits, yes, I could improve, but any crowd that's going to be outcasting you because of your bad habits and a stain on your sweater, like, you never wanted to be in that crowd in the first place. All you kids at home, they're not you. You're not them. You don't want that.
Your messy hair and the fingernails you had neglected to clean. You worried about the spots on your sweater, Barbara. But what really showed up were your habits. You didn't find it very pleasant comparing yourself with the others.
What? I said, what do you think?
You weren't listening. You seldom do. It's a habit of yours.
I guess I don't know much about it.
They were talking about a popular book. All your friends were interested, but you never got into the habit of reading books.
The whole problem was that Claudia wanted to be free to do all the things she'd never been allowed to do.
Well, that was her whole reason for leaving her family.
And then she married back to the same kind of life. Well, that's why I think the book's stupid. Why couldn't she have seen?
No, you added nothing to that conversation.
The trouble with me is getting started. I always have to force myself to do new things.
I'm the same way. I didn't even want to go to my first concert because I thought it would be too long-haired. Oh, but the music is wonderful. I'm going to go to the...
I didn't want to go to my first concert because I thought it would be too long-haired. I like that.
whole series. My mother had to drag me to the museum. But they have a wonderful costume exhibit there. I got an idea for a new dress.
Oh, what kind?
You've never taken an interest in music or politics or art.
We always go to the beach. Every year we take a cottage at Eston.
You've only been once.
There's wonderful swimming and lots of boys. It's quiet where we go. And there are tennis courts at the hotels, too, and dances every weekend. Sounds grand. And it's just a short way to the city.
You couldn't help interrupting, could you? And you couldn't help stretching truth like a rubber band. We all like to talk about ourselves. But a soliloquy isn't a conversation. First, you didn't talk at all, and then you did all the talking. Conversation is a two-way street. But for you, it's either one way or a dead end.
Goodbye. I hope you had a very nice time. Thank you. I did. Bye. See you tomorrow. Goodbye, Barbara. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
You shit, Barbara. No one likes you.
Oh, thank you. Bye.
In all society, at all ages, we know that people are going to talk about other people. Unfortunately, our faults are often more discussed than our good points. And sometimes...
A little bit of victim blaming there. If people are like talking behind your back, it is not because of your faults or good things that you've done. It's because of their behaviour, not yours. I'm getting concerned that people that are watching this are going to be taking this seriously. I'm taking this as like a lighthearted thing. Don't take this too seriously.
Sometimes our good points are completely hidden by our faults. But perhaps worst of all is our own disappointment in ourselves and the remarks we imagine our friends are making about us.
Gee, I think dirty fingernails are horrible.
Maybe she felt shy. A spotted sweater isn't shyness. And bad manners are still bad manners no matter what you call them.
Now, in your own room, the memory of this day stands between you and your whole pattern of behavior. Where will you start? Your complexion? That starts with soap and water and goes on to regular meals and the right kind of food. Your hair? It's more than just a shampoo when you happen to think of it. Your clothes? Not just cleaned when your mother takes them away from you, but a system of cleaning. For all a pattern, a network of habits. Helen checks her clothes for cleaning when she takes them off. That's a habit of hers. This morning, Helen took her skirt from the front of the closet. Tonight, she hangs it in the back. That's a habit, too. One on the plus side.
We're not judging the fact that Helen's not washing the dirty skirt that she wore, or are they a little bit more like zero waste back in the 1950s? This seems very one-sided.
It gives clothes a chance to hang, rests the fabric. Tonight, Helen makes a plan for tomorrow. Of what to wear, what to do, when to do it, designed for living. Helen has the habit of being ready for special days. Good habits save time time and energy and give us greater freedom to do those extra things we want to do. Yes, a good start. But these improvements are not yet habits, not by any means. They must happen again and again until they fit into the fabric of the days without conscious thought. If you try, really try, you can root out the poor, accidental habits and establish in their place the good habits approved by custom, accepted by society.
Accepted by society. Oh, sorry, my food's here. Hold on, I just have to take a curry break. So that's the whack. Disturbing to say the least, but we're gonna maybe take some positive things from it, like setting out your stuff on your vanity, ready for the next day. I'm going to watch a few more of these videos, like I just said at the beginning, and then we'll make a little routine, and we'll see how it goes. But again, we don't want to be going back to the 1950s. We do not want to make America great again. That was not a good time for a lot of people. So I'm taking this with definitely a grain of salt. But thanks for hanging around, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
So the question's about the nature of scientific evidence. You both said, and I think most people here would agree with you, that we're justified in holding a belief if there's evidence for it or if there are logical arguments we can find that support it. But it seems like this in itself is a belief which would require some form of evidence. And so if so, I'm wondering what you think would count as evidence in favour of that, and if not, how do we justify choosing that heuristic without appealing to the same standard that we're trying to justify?
So how do we justify, as it were, faith that science will give us the truth? Is that the...
Please.
How do you justify scientific method?
Yes.
Basically, what he said.
It works. It works. Planes fly, cars drive, computers compute.
It's an inductive argument.
If you base medicine on science, you cure people. If you base the design of planes on science, they fly. If you base the design of rockets on science, they reach the moon. It works, bitches.